Hello everyone, welcome to this online class prepared and presented by myself, Arun Kumar CS, teacher of English, Government College, Manadawari. Today we'll have a discussion on So Sweet Love Seemed That April Morn, a famous poem by Robert Bridges. This is part of the course on Victorian literature for second semester MA English of Kannur University. About the poet Robert Bridges, he was born in England in 1844. By training, he was a doctor and he took up poetry later. He retired at the age of 38 in 1882 and he took up poetry. But he started publishing his poems much before that. The first collection of his poems came out in 1873. He remained a rather unknown poet till 1913 when he became the poet laureate. In fact, it is said that both the reading public and even the writers were surprised to find that a rather unknown poets such as Robert Bridges became the poet laureate. His fame also rests upon the fact that he took initiatives to publish the poems of Gerard Manley Hopkins in a collection that came out in 1918. The major collections of poetry of Robert Bridges are Shorter Poems 1890, Shorter Poems 1894, Testament of Beauty 1929, etc. He passed away in 1930. The poem that we have today is So Sweet Love Seemed That April Morn. It goes like this. Let's read the poem once. So sweet love seemed that April morn, when first we kissed before the thorn. So strangely sweet, it was not strange, we thought that love could never change. But I can tell, let truth be told, that love will change in growing old, though day by day is not to see so delicate his motions be. And in the end it will come to pass quite to forget what once he was, nor even in fancy to recall the pleasure that was all in all. His little spring, that sweet we found, so deep in summer floods is drowned. I wonder, bathed in joy complete, how love so young could be so sweet. He begins the poem by going back to the memory of his love that started, as he says, on an April morn a long while ago. A long while ago, because he says, so sweet love seemed that April morn. The word that indicates the fact that it happened a long while ago. It's not something that is happening right now. It is not something that he expects to happen in future. It has already happened a quite while ago. And he says, love seemed that April morn. So sweet love seemed that April morn. The word seemed in the title itself, it gives us a sense of illusion. The poet feels that it was not truth. It was something that they felt. So it was something like an illusion. But he also recalls that they kissed standing beside the thorn, perhaps in a garden. So it gives us the image of a garden with so much of flowers and plants, and they stood among these plants and they kissed. And the phrase, the thorns of life, is a famous phrase by Shelley in one of his poems. He says, I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed. So like that, the thorns they might suggest to us the problems and the precarious situations, the unpleasant realities of life that might have been happening around these lovers, but they felt too close and too intimate with each other so that they were able to stand together and kiss. He also recalls that the first kiss was so strangely sweet, but at the same time they felt, naturally all lovers feel so, they felt that their love would not change over time. In the second stanza, he comes back to the present moment and he admits the truth that love does change as time flies by. It is impossible to observe or trace the changes that are happening every day because the changes are too delicate, as he says, to Observe. In stanza 3, he says, and at the end it will come to pass, quite to forget what once he was, nor even in fancy to recall the pleasure that was all in all. He says, in the end may mean many things. Either they might have lived a whole lifetime together and they've come to the end, then, or they might have parted their ways, so that is an end. In any case, in the end, they both feel it's so natural that they don't remember or they forget the nature of their love, how it was at some point of time in the past, how it was, that they do not remember anymore, and it feels so natural about it. There is nothing strange about it. So when they first kissed, it was so strange, it was so strangely sweet, but in the present moment it is not strange that they do not remember it. And not even for fancy, even as a passing thought, even as a casual thought, they don't remember the pleasures that they once enjoyed. In the final stanza, he says, his little spring, that sweet we found, so deep in summer floods is drowned. I wonder, bathed in joy complete, how love so young could be so sweet. Here, the word there is spring. It may mean two things: the season or the brook, or a small stream of love flowing ceaselessly. Now, where is that spring? It has gone too deep into the summer floods, which are mighty currents of water, mighty flow of water, and this spring is drowned in the summer floods. So, summer floods might indicate the nature of life that they might have been going through over these many years, as in this famous English saying, so much water under the bridge, which means so much of time has passed. So this idea of water flowing is intimately connected with the flow of time. So, and he ends the poem by saying like this: I wonder, bathed in joy complete, how love so young could be so sweet. He wonders how love, which was so young when they started loving each other, how could it be so sweet? And he is not able to trace the memories. How could it be so sweet? He says the main themes of this poem are love and also the transience of love. He says in the first stanza, he says, so strangely sweet they felt while kissing each other. They felt like this, he says. But at the second stanza, he comes back to the present moment, and he says, let me admit the truth that love will change in growing old. So there is this idea of love, and there is this idea of change, this overwhelming change that affects everything. And also there is an element of memory. The poet begins the poem by going back to the memory of something that they have experienced a long while ago, and he comes back. And when he comes back with a realization and a rethinking of something that they experienced in the past. Intimately connected with both these themes of love and transience of love and memory, there is this idea of passage of time, because there is one strong symbol, which is summer floods, that stands for the passage of time. It not only stands for the passage of time, but also it stands for the nature of time that has passed. So it is not a calm flow of water, it is not a pleasant thing to see and enjoy while observing. It is summer floods. It is something that is mighty, something that is strong, and something that is deadly. So the time, passage of time, memory, love, and also the transience of love are the main themes of this poem. Hope you Hope you will enjoy the poem. I suggest that you read the poem again and again so that you will enjoy it more. Thank you.